Well, hello. Welcome to Ash Toon Talk. Today, we're going to predict where the 20 Premier League teams are going to finish this season. So, who's going to be my champion then? Okay, so this is where we are. We're going to use, it's quite a popular format, this. So it's predicting obviously a champion. Then you've got the Champions League places. You've got the Europa League places, Conference League, mid-table, who's lower mid-table, avoid relegation, which is obviously touch and go relegation battle anyway, and then obviously relegated. So where to start is the question. I'm tempted just to put obviously these people. Video's over. Get them there. No. Even I'm not that deluded. Let's be honest. Right, I'm going to do them in alphabetical order. So, starting with AFC Bournemouth. Okay, Bournemouth. They have sold a few players, to be perfectly honest. They're looking to obviously offload another player very soon to Brentford as well. That being said, they did have a really good season last season. I mean, where they finished, not a lot of people expected Bournemouth to finish where they did. I mean, a lot of people would have them relegated at the start of the season. So I am not going to be one of those people that says, "Ooh, relegation." No, because I've got method to my madness anyway. I think they're not going to do as well this coming season. Personally, I think they're going to be low to mid-table, finishing round about 13th. Right, moving on to so it's Arsenal next, right? There. I just don't think they've got enough with Gyökeres with the shot if they signed. He's unproven in the Premier League, and I know that he's scored a hell of a lot of goals. I mean, obviously he's got an hat-trick against City last season, but I think over a prolonged Premier League campaign, will it be enough? I think not. They're always the bridesmaid, never the bride at the moment, Arsenal, aren't they? Don't get me wrong, they're in with a shout. It depends on if they can maintain it for the whole season. They always have that drop off, don't they? That's the problem with Arsenal. They're consistent, but they have a drop off at some point. Every champion there's ever been for countless years now are consistently good throughout the season. Losing 3 games is pretty much unheard of nowadays for a champion. So I am, unfortunately, for Arsenal fans, going to put them in, finishing, I reckon, runners up again, to be perfectly honest. Let's go for Aston Villa. Right, Aston Villa, they've not really signed anyone this summer at all. I mean, they've been very conservative. Is that PSR restrictions? I mean, you Aston Villa fans will know better than me. Basically, it means you've got lack of activity in the transfer market at the moment. Lack of activity in the transfer market at the moment. They could potentially lose Ollie Watkins as well. It could happen. You got to factor that in. Although chances are he probably will be there next season. I do actually reckon the Conference League play. I reckon 7th, which is another consistent season for Aston Villa. Next one on the list, Brentford. Yeah, Brentford. Brentford. I think Brentford are in trouble this season. I really do. I mean, obviously they lost in Buemo, but they've also lost, or they're potentially losing Wissa. Who else did they lose as well? Can't remember off the top of my head again. I really should look this up before we do a video, but there we go. Tell me in the comments, please. Can't remember. The big one for me is Thomas Frank. I think without him, and if we've got an unproven manager, they're going to really struggle. That being said, are they going to be better than the promoted teams? I'm going to go lower mid-table, but I reckon it's going to be pushing 16th or 17th. But just giving it a benefit of doubt, I'm gonna say 16th. All right, next one on the list, Brighton. Brighton are basically team status quo, aren't they? Really, let's be honest. They just hover around the mid-table section, and they're very good at doing that, and they're very good at recruiting players that little gems that they find and selling them on, blah blah blah. Everyone knows what Brighton do. So for that reason, I think I'm just going to put them in as the mid-table. Don't think they'll have enough for Europe, but I think they will finish around about 8th or 9th anyway. Good season, not great, but good season in the Premier League, and that's where I think they will finish. Right, next we've got old Burnley getting promoted. I like Scott Parker. This is a different Burnley team. I know they've become a yo-yo team, Burnley, but they're a different Burnley team set-up-wise to the one that was in the Premiership last time. They really have shored up the defence, but, and this is the big but, that was a Championship level of player last season, and they've lost James Trafford as well. So where to put them? I can't see anything other than relegation for Burnley, unfortunately. Right, Chelsea, the squad of a million gazillion players. They're still not finishing the transfer market over there. I mean, Garnacho's supposed to be on his way soon, or potentially on his way. Don't know if that'll improve them though or not. I mean, he's a good player, but the way he's behaved with Manchester United, don't know about that whatsoever. I mean, Delap carries on the way he was going last season. He's gonna knock a few goals in, and obviously João Pedro, he's no slouch for Brighton. I am going to firmly put Chelsea not challenging, but they will qualify for the Champions League. I don't think they're quite there yet. Crystal Palace. I mean, Crystal Palace is the Charity Shield as it once was known. Any indicator, drawn to all Liverpool. They've had a decent side for a couple of seasons now, and I can't think of anywhere else to put them but mid-table. I think they are smack bang what you call a middle of the road club in the Premier League, capable of beating anyone on a good day, but at the same time they couldn't go 4 or 5 games without a win. So there is that. Right, next on the list we have Everton. So Everton, right, this is going to get interesting because I think Everton are going to do a lot better than people think. It's down to David Moyes. He's a very astute manager, but he's a very good manager. He's an established Premier League manager. He knows Everton inside out. We've got a new stadium this season they're going to be playing in, and obviously in recent days we've been told that Grealish could very much is on his way to Everton on loan. So for that reason, I think they are they're going to be a mid-table side, but that's a vast improvement. Everton fans, massive, vast improvement from last season. Alright, next, Fulham. I'm not going to mess about with this one. I'm just going to put Fulham in there. I think they have an established Premier League side now. They don't set the world on fire, but they're a very steady team. And again, on the day, they can upset almost anybody. Right, who's next? We have Leeds United. Now, I've debated this one for a little while now because they have gone out on the transfer market. They spent a few quid, and obviously Longstaff's there now. I mean, very much good luck to you, Mr. Longstaff at Leeds. Do you know what I'm going to predict? I'm going to predict they're going to avoid relegation. I think they'll just have enough to get scraped into 17th. No, they're going to be one of those teams that hits the ground running. They're going to surprise, boom, 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 get quite a few points early doors, and then just peter out in the middle, and then just get suckered in for the last quarter of the season, and then just have enough to get over the line with the points. I think that's what's going to happen to Leeds this season. I'm forever the optimist, so I think they are going to survive. Liverpool. Right. Where are we going to put Liverpool? That or that? That's the only places you can really put Liverpool. I mean, who they've signed is ridiculous. Ekitike, obviously there's only one game to judge him on, but he looks like the business. They've got Wirtz there now, Rimprong, and potentially a certain Mr. Alexander Isak. If they get him, they're there without a shadow of a doubt. They'll win the league. And everyone else will be just like, okay, here's the trophy. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, the way it's panning out at the moment, I'm going to say they're going to finish runners up. controversial. The only reason I'm doing that is because they have pretty much changed their forward lineup. I know they've got Salah there, and Salah had an amazing season. He's bound to have another amazing season, a really good season. But can he maintain 29 goals? They don't send Isak, he'll be there. He'll be second. Okay. Next, right, City. I'm going to go on a limb here and say they're going to win the league. Everybody, or should I say nobody, is even giving City a chance of winning the league. You're forgetting, or everyone seems to forget, that City have won 4 of the last 5 championships. Last season, yeah, they had some really bad spells, but you do not write off at your peril. You don't do it. Yeah, arguably they're in a little bit of rebuild mode at the time, this moment in time, but they're still going to be the team to beat. Everyone goes on about, how well Arsenal are going to do, and obviously Liverpool, but City are the team to beat. If you beat City, you win the league, and that's the way it has been for the last 10 years. Right, next on the agenda is Manchester United. I have a problem with this one. This is probably one of the most unpredictable teams this next coming season, for good reason. They have signed some really good players. I mean, they've signed Incuna and Mbeumo, are well-established Premier League players. However, Sesko isn't. I personally think he's too rigid with his tactics. How many times are you going to flog a dead horse and expect it to run? You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again expecting a different result. I'm naive for the Premiership. Very naive. And I still don't think he's got the players to do it. That being said, it could all click into place for you. And you could have a really, really good season. Well, you can't get any worse than you did. I'll judge it this way. I wasn't even remotely concerned about when Newcastle played Manchester United last season. And that was the first time, as a Newcastle fan, I've ever felt that way about Manchester United. Whereas this season, I'm not as confident at all. So on that basis, I'm going to say mid-table. Nottingham Forest. So we've got one more for that. So I'm reckoning Nottingham Forest are going to finish in here. Chris Wood had an amazing season last season. We've nicked a Langer off you. I think obviously you're still going to be very, very tough team to play against and to beat. At the end of the day, I mean, yes, you missed out on Champions League last season, and it was very unfortunate that you did. However, flat to impress at the end of the season. Nobody's going to be having an easy time playing against Forest this season. That's for sure. Right, next. Did the wrong way around there. I did Forest. I should have done Newcastle after Manchester United. Never mind. Well, we'll do Newcastle now. There. My reasons are thus. It looks like we're going to get Wissa. If we get Wissa, we've got somebody who can knock the goals in, discounting the Isak factor into it as well. We're going to hover around this mark. I think we're going to finish about 6th. Idiocy that's gone on at Newcastle. That's a good season for us, and we've got Champions League football. I'd love to say that we'd be challenging up here for Champions League, but I think 6th. Right, so Sunderland. Yeah, Sunderland. Right, there we go. Does anyone want to argue with me? No? Yeah? Right, okay. Yeah, relegated. Nothing else to say, really. I just don't think you're going to have enough Sunderland, unfortunately. You may get the odd result. I mean, I hope we absolutely thrash you in the derby next season, and I'm looking forward to that so much. As far as I'm concerned, your relegation fodder, tatty bye. Tottenham. I think Tottenham cannot be as bad as they were last season. I think Thomas Frank is a good, solid manager. I mean, I am tempted to do this, sort of them 2 round, to be perfectly honest. And I think I'm changing my mind now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, I think that is more palatable. But it's going to be a better season for you. It's going to be a better season. Now, West Ham. West Ham are going to be there. Yeah, I mean, they're too good to get relegated, I think. Far too good to get relegated. they're probably just going to hover around mid-table most of the season, and that's just what West Ham will do, really, to be honest with you. And then that leaves Wolves. I'm sorry, Wolves. I think you're getting relegated next season. The loss of Cunha is going to really seriously affect you, I think. And I think that's going to be you going down. I'm going off a lot of gut feeling here. A lot of gut feeling. But at the same time, I've tried to be as balanced as I possibly can. Not going too far, reading too far into who you've signed and who you've not signed. And I think you can get bogged down with that too much. What I will do at the mid-season point, I will revisit this after 19 games, see where we're at in terms of the table, and then I'll reevaluate it and I'll bring up a lot more stats when it comes into the season. I think the start of the season, before the ball's even kicked, you're not going to know how different players are going to perform, especially overseas players that are coming into the Premier League. So it's practically impossible to predict. But you'll get your usual suspects, i.e. who's going to be at the top of the table, who's going to be hovering around mid-table, and obviously you're going over recent years. Everyone who got promoted has got relegated, so you know they're easy predictions to make. So I'm going more with my gut feelings. Gut feelings. That's what we go for. Yes. So that concludes my predictions for the 25-26 season. Tell me what you think. You probably think you know nothing about football. How dare you predict this? How dare you say my team's going to? How dare you say that my team's going to finish here? Bring it on, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. Right. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate the time and coming along and listening to me ramble on about football. Drop us a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on Ash2 Talk. Bye for now.